Some days you wake up and it feels like the world is sitting on your chest. Like no matter how much you try to move forward, something invisible keeps pulling you back. I know that feeling. I know what it's like to sit there staring at the ceiling, wondering why everything feels so empty, wondering why nothing seems to make sense anymore. And I need you to hear me when I say this. You are not broken. You are not weak. This isn't proof that something is wrong with you. We are human. We aren't perfect. None of us are. And the truth is, nobody has everything figured out. Even the people who look like they do. Even the ones who seem happy, confident, successful. They have nights where they feel lost too. They just don't show it. It's human to feel moments like this. It's part of what makes us alive. We go through highs and we go through lows. And I know, when you're in the low, it feels like it's never going to end. But it will. It always does. The hardest part is not believing the thoughts that tell you it won't. The mind is tricky. When you're in pain, it tells you things that aren't true. It whispers that you'll always feel this way, that nothing will change, that you'll never be happy again. But those are just thoughts. They come and go like passing clouds, and just because a thought appears in your head doesn't mean it's real. You've felt joy before. Maybe it's been a while. Maybe you don't even remember what it feels like. But if you've felt it once, it means you can feel it again. That part of you isn't gone. It's just buried right now, covered by everything you've been carrying. And I know some days it feels like there's no purpose, like you're just going through the motions, waiting for something, anything to make it all make sense. But listen, you don't have to know the purpose of your life today. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to fix everything overnight. Sometimes the purpose is simply to keep going, to make it through the next hour, the next day, the next week. And eventually you'll see the reason why you held on. You don't have to be perfect to be worthy of happiness. You don't have to have all the answers to deserve peace. You don't have to be anyone other than who you are right now. Because the truth is, you are already enough. With all your flaws, with all your struggles, with all the things you think make you unworthy, you are enough. And I get it, it's hard to believe that when you feel this way. But look at you. You made it to this moment. You've survived everything life has thrown at you so far. You've been through pain before and somehow you're still here. And that means you're stronger than you realize. Pain doesn't mean you're weak. Struggling doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're alive. And as long as you're alive, there's still room for something beautiful to come into your life. And I know right now it doesn't feel that way. Right now it feels impossible. But there will be a day, sooner than you think, where you'll look back at this moment and realize you made it through. You survived the days you thought you wouldn't. You kept going, even when everything inside of you told you to stop. And that is strength. That is something no one can take away from you. You don't have to do everything at once. Just focus on the next small step. Maybe that's drinking some water. Maybe it's stepping outside for a minute. Maybe it's texting someone, even if you don't know what to say. Just one small thing, and then another. That's how healing happens. That's how you slowly climb out. We aren't perfect, none of us are, but we don't need to be. We just need to keep going. Some days, waking up feels like a battle before the day even begins. You open your eyes and the weight is already there, pressing down on you, making it hard to even take that first breath. It's like the world expects you to move, to function, to be okay, but inside, you feel stuck. You feel like you're falling behind, like you're running a race that you never signed up for, and no matter how much you try, you can't catch up. I know what that's like. I know what it feels like to wonder if things will ever get better, to look at the future and feel nothing but uncertainty. You tell yourself, maybe if I just hold on a little longer, something will change. But then another day passes, and you feel the same. And the hardest part? No one really sees it. Maybe you're good at pretending. Maybe you smile when you need to. I'm fine when someone asks. But inside you feel like you're slowly sinking and no one even notices. And that makes it worse, doesn't it? That feeling of being unseen. That feeling that no one would really care if you just disappeared. That maybe, just maybe, the world would go on exactly the same, and your absence wouldn't even make a ripple. But listen to me. That thought, it's a lie. A trick your mind plays when you're at your lowest. The truth is you do matter, and not in some vague, cliché way. You matter because you exist, because someone, somewhere, would be changed forever if you weren't here. Maybe you don't see it now. Maybe you don't believe it. But I promise you, it's real. Look, I know that when you're in this kind of pain, words can feel empty. You've heard people say, it gets better. And maybe you've rolled your eyes because nothing feels better right now. But I'm not asking you to believe in some distant, perfect future. I'm just asking you to stay here in this moment and recognize that you've made it this far. You weren't meant to carry all of this alone. You weren't meant to suffer in silence. We are human. We aren't perfect. None of us are. But that doesn't mean you don't deserve love, kindness, and peace. And if you've been waiting for someone to say this to you, then let me be the one. You deserve to be here. You deserve to feel okay again. You deserve a chance to heal. I know it feels like there's no purpose right now, like every day is just a repeat of the last. But hear me, you don't need to have everything figured out today. You don't need to know your purpose yet. Sometimes, the only purpose you need is to make it through this moment, to just keep breathing. Look, I get it. When you feel this way, even the smallest things can feel impossible. Getting out of bed, eating a meal, answering a message, and that's okay. You don't have to do everything at once. Just start with something small. Maybe it's drinking some water. Maybe it's stepping outside for just a minute. Maybe it's putting on a song that reminds you of a time when you felt okay. These small things, they add up, they matter, and each one is proof that you're still here, still fighting. You don't have to be positive all the time. You don't have to force yourself to think happy thoughts or pretend everything's fine. Healing doesn't mean you have to fake a smile. It just means you allow yourself to feel without believing that the feeling will last forever, because no emotion lasts forever. The pain you feel right now, it won't last forever either. Have you ever noticed how, when you're in a dark place, your mind brings up every bad memory, every regret, every mistake? That's because pain tries to convince you that it's permanent. But think about this. If you've ever had a good moment in your life, even just one, that means good moments are possible. They didn't disappear. And just as pain arrives unexpectedly, so does joy. You never know when a small, beautiful moment will happen. And if you're not here, you'll never get to see it. Look, I'm not saying this is easy. I'm not saying that by tomorrow everything will be fixed. But I am saying that you are worth the effort. You are worth taking care of. You are worth giving another day, another chance, another breath. And I know maybe right now you don't believe me. Maybe you're thinking, yeah, but you don't know my life. You don't know my pain. And you're right. I don't. But I do know this. You have survived 100% of your worst days. Every bad moment, every heartbreak, every time you thought you couldn't take it anymore, you made it through. And that means something. That means you are stronger than you think. We are human. We aren't perfect. None of us are. And that's okay. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to keep going. Because there will come a day when you look back at this moment and realize, I made it. I survived. And when that day comes, I hope you see what I see in you right now. Someone who is worthy. Someone who is strong. Someone who deserves to be here.